The 2026 Giro d'Italia is already over, and in the end, we got exactly what many expected: Jonas Vingegaard as the overall winner. With this victory, the Dane has now won all three Grand Tours and can head into the Tour de France with plenty of confidence. Vingegaard never really had to push himself to the absolute limit. Although he did not look particularly dominant during the first half of the race, possibly due to illness, he was never truly threatened. With 5 stage victories to his name, he can look back on this Giro with great satisfaction. Should Tadej Pogacar be worried about the level Vingegaard has reached? I don't think so. Then again, does Pogacar ever really worry? The overall level of the other GC contenders was not particularly impressive. Unfortunately, Adam Yates abandoned the race while Giulio Pellizzari fell ill and never really found his best form. Felix Gall ended up being the best of the rest in second place, while Jai Hindley completed the podium in third. One rider I watched with great admiration throughout this Giro was Afonso Ilalio. The Portuguese rider took the pink jersey through a successful breakaway and managed to hold on to it for a remarkably long time. He never completely cracked and eventually finished 6th overall, while also winning the young rider classification. What impressed me most was his fighting spirit. Whenever he saw an opportunity to attack, he took it. I am very curious to see how he develops in the coming years. This Giro featured quite a number of transitional stages that were won by the breakaway. One rider who probably did not make many friends in the peloton was Jonathan Narvaez. The UAE rider managed to win no fewer than 3 stages from the breakaway. On rolling terrain, he repeatedly dropped his rivals with sharp accelerations, and his powerful engine allowed him to extend his advantage once he got clear. Unfortunately, Narvaez did not make it to the finish of the Giro, as a crash before one of the final stages forced him to abandon the race. Giulio Ciccone secured the mountains classification during the final mountain stages. He was one of the stars of this Giro, featuring prominently in almost every mountain stage, and often proving to be the strongest rider in the breakaway. He must have been cursing the Visma riders on more than one occasion, as they rarely gave him much freedom before eventually reeling him back in. Paul Magnier was the sprint king of this Giro. Thanks in part to a strong lead-out train, and especially the work of Jasper Stuyven, the Frenchman won an impressive 3 stages. It would not surprise me at all if we see him shining at the Tour de France next year. One area where the Giro organizers could improve is rider safety. Several sprint stage finishes during the first week were extremely technical and led to numerous crashes. There were a number of obstacles and dangerous features that could easily have been avoided. I hope the organizers learn from this and place even greater emphasis on rider safety in future editions of the race. Now, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this Giro. What stood out to you the most? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the content.